Oh, hello. I'm Tom. I'm the author of Virelius Academy. And today I want to talk a moment to tell you what Virelius Academy actually is and what the story is about. No lore, no spoilers, just the heart of the story. But before I do that, I want to say thank you. Just a few moments ago, I started out and I posted a lot on social media. I put my project out there with everything I had, and somehow it reached far more people than I ever expected. Millions of views, even. So, thank you, truly. For me, it wasn't about the numbers, it was confirmation. Confirmation that there's interest in this story. And honestly, that response was a huge motivation to keep going. And that's when I decided to slow down on social media and do this properly. Because the world I'm building takes time. Time I now invest in the world rather than in social media. I've been working on this project for over 6 months now. I've written 6 out of 24 chapters, but believe me, I've written a lot more than that. World building, structure, systems, consequences. This just isn't a story you rush. But before you can understand the story, there are 2 things you need to understand first. The world it takes place in, and the agreement that holds this world together. The Stellarverse is a universe that the story takes place in. It's in the future, but not too far. The story starts late 22nd century. Humanity has expanded beyond Earth, the moon, Mars, and beyond. Not in a fantasy setting, but in one that could exist. In this universe, with rules and consequences, politics matter, logistics matter, physics apply, well, at least partially. So it's still a story. It's still science fiction, and not everything is going to be 100% correct all the time. And that's okay. It's not about being perfect, it's more about being plausible. The second thing, the heart of the Stellar Accord, what holds everything together, there's something that's called the Stellar Accord. So at the heart of the Stellarverse, there's something that's called the Stellar Accord. The Stellar Accord is an interplanetary agreement, and it exists to regulate how worlds interact. It sets shared directives, it defines boundaries, and it provides mechanisms for arbitration when conflicts should arise. It also regulates the use of force, it limits weapons, and it exists to prevent escalation, not the conflict itself. What it's not a government, it's not an empire, and it's not perfect. It exists in an imperfect world. And just like any agreement built on trust, it only works as long as the people still choose to uphold it. So, with that being said, let me tell you what the story is about. First, the Academy itself, and this is where naming matters. Virelius Academy is a name that most people use, but officially it's not a real name. The institution itself is called EFC Academy, Earth Fleet Command Academy. It's located aboard a space station called Virelius Station. So when people say Virelius Academy, they are really talking about the academy based on Virelius Station. It's a nickname, common usage. Officially, it's EFC Academy. Virelius Station is not a futuristic... that happens. So Virelius Academy is not just a futuristic showpiece. Wow. A futuristic showpiece. Thank you. It's a functional station. Solid, practical, a little worn. Not old by orbital standards, but shaped by the years. By adaptation and by neglect. It wasn't built all at once. It grew over decades. It expanded. It was modified and partially replaced as needs changed. At the core of this story, we follow a group of cadets, first-year cadets, 12 years old. Yes, I know what you must be thinking. Is this going to turn into one of those teen-focused, romancy-driven academy stories? Well, no, it's not. Definitely not. Because while the cadets are at the heart of the story, they're not the whole of it. They represent children growing up inside a flawed system. Their personal stories are carried by something much larger than politics, institutional pressure, unfolding conflict. This is definitely not a story driven by teenage drama. As I said, at its core, it follows a group of cadets. But it doesn't follow only cadets. It also follows the officers. They're not teachers in the traditional sense. They are officers first and foremost, professionals who teach their line of work. And among them are some very interesting characters. Second thing I know you are definitely thinking about is, why would you send children into space to train? Is this something like Ender's Game? No. Again, it's not. The teaching principles of this academy are very different from what we're used to. So they're closer to the modern Scandinavian educational models, modular, person-driven, focused on individual development rather than uniform outcomes. But the academy also has one very strong core principle. However, I'm not going to reveal that yet. What I can tell you is this. Unlike in some shows, the school itself is not a ship. It doesn't fly to Earth. It doesn't go on adventures. It's a station. That matters. The academy has its own ships. And the education is built around two pillars, theory and practice. Which means, yes, eventually cadets will command their own ships, under supervision, of course. that's actually all I'm going to say about the story today. What I do want to talk about is the future. So, the first book is called The Shattered Accord. It's the opening of a much larger series, a series that was designed to grow. I'm not writing this to rush it out. I'm building it very carefully, chapter by chapter, system by system, because this story only works if done properly. The Shattered Accord is just the beginning. The world expands, the consequences deepen, and the story grows with its characters. But it's not just a story, it's so much more. And I'm in it for the long haul. So that's it for today. I'm going to wrap it up, but I'm not an influencer. I'm not going to say things like, share, and follow. You can if you want. But what I really like is your feedback. Your feedback matters. I want to know what you feel after this video. I want to know what your thoughts are. Please share them in the comments or somewhere else on my Instagram. I don't care. Just give me it. Okay, that's it. See you next time in the Stellarverse.